Welcome to our garden video number 2. Autumn is fast approaching just now. It's mid-September in actual fact, and we have a good easterly wind blowing which is making our kite fly high. The reason for the kite was that we had a lot of problems with seagulls, and you'll probably see from our fish bed here, which we ended our last film with, that there are a few holes and bits and pieces, a few plants missing, and that is all because the seagulls kept digging the plants out.
I'd like to introduce you to our little ray of sunshine here, this beautiful sunflower. It appeared mysteriously in this garden. I guess a bird may well have dropped a seed here and it's grown into this beautiful flower. It will stay here until it goes to seed, and then we will sprinkle the seeds around the gardens for the wild birds to enjoy later on in the winter.
We've now entered Melody Close, which is the start of our tour for the garden, and here in front of me we've got this plant which is Amsonia. Amsonia has a beautiful star-shaped blue flower, and it's probably out in June, May-June time in fact. And here we've got a bedding plant which is Rubeckia. We probably think it's Goldstrum, but not sure. Got a rose, of course, and this one, although this shrub is sort of somewhat windblown, it is actually architecturally rather beautiful. It's a bit like the Verbena bonariensis, where you can see through it structurally, and you have flowers that come and go at a rapid speed, mallow type flower, and this shrub is called Althea.
The hedge in the background here has been cut down very hard this summer because it was getting too tall and too wide really. So it's looking rather dead at the moment, but it is beginning to reshoot. The two lovely plants in the front here are the yellow Rubeckia and the beautiful blue geranium Roseanne. As we're now entering into the autumn season, we still have plenty of colour within this garden, starting with the tricolour sage and the red salvia, over to the Davida evoculata tree, which is the handkerchief tree. This tree was planted by Mrs. Cricket, the wife of Jimmy Cricket, who named our diesel locomotive.
As we enter the Millennium Garden, we are greeted with a strange piece of sculpture. Well, that is what the opinion of many of our visitors think, but for me personally it is a lovely piece of art. It's a piece of rail with a concrete sleeper attached. And just before us you'll see the plaque, which was in commemoration or celebration of the millennium, the year 2000 of course, and Anne Swithenbank very kindly came along and opened the gardens for us on the 23rd of July. In front of us we have our flat roof garden, and this was created especially over our lecture theatre. It's supposed to replicate a tumble-down castle, and we found this arch, this beautiful arch, which is actually Bath stone. The arch came out of a redundant church somewhere. And on our flat roof garden we have basically pot plants, and they were sort of mature plants to give a sensation of height, but also maturity as well.
We're now looking at the silted up moat garden, which travels underneath the Japanese arched bridge and surrounds the tumble-down castle. This is a beautiful cool Retoria, or Pride of India tree. It has lovely yellow flowers in the spring, and then in the autumn the leaves turn autumn gold and fall to the ground. To the right we have a tulip tree, which has just started flowering over the past few years. The next three gardens are planted out in the Terrestrial theme. This one is planted out in the colours of the rainbow.
Following on the celestial theme. Here we have the moon garden, and predominantly the colours here are silvers, whites and blues. And we also have a Grosso, which we'll just show you. The Grosso is a beautiful piece of artwork, predominantly laid with seashells. And as we go up towards the ceiling, you'll see that there are black ribs, which is actually napped beer flint stone, and the white parts are unnapped stone. Right. Well, we're walking up the slate path, grass slate path, needless to say, and we've got grasses either side, and pretty well the fun.
We have now just entered into the sun garden. Its walls are covered in Devon field flint. Beautiful steps leaving the garden to the left hand side, and a lovely ramp of orange and yellow stone coming down into the garden. The centrepiece of this garden is the copper ball. It's right in front of you, surrounded by a planting scheme of red, yellow and oranges. This is the real hot garden. We have yellow Rebecca's over the far side. Above that is buff beauty rose, pointantilla shrub, thalia fuchsias and choisias in lime green. Right, Michael, I didn't actually start in the gardens in 2004, so could you enlighten me with a bit of the history with regards to the gardens?
It has an interesting history, this garden, because originally it was a putting green on a slope, and it wasn't well used. It was actually quite boring, and a lot of our customers used to sort of say to us, where are the gardens? Right. And so we were inspired to have a go at creating a special garden. And in 1998 we approached a garden designer called Naylor Green, who's an award-winning garden designer, Chelsea winner as well, and she very kindly came up with some ideas which we developed together and honed in on the celestial theme.
Right.
The sun, the moon and the rainbow. And over those years it's been really successful. Well, we believe it has.
But well worth it.
Well worth it.
Well worth it,
definitely.
yeah, absolutely.